There's a certain kind of silence that feels heavy, not because it's peaceful, but because it reminds you that there's no one else in the room. If you've ever sat in that kind of silence, the kind that echoes, you know how loud it can feel. But what if that silence wasn't something to fear? What if, instead, it became something sacred? This video is a quiet invitation. It's not about escaping loneliness. It's about transforming it, about learning to sit with yourself, not as a punishment, but as a gift, to enjoy your own company, gently, honestly, fully, in a way that feels nourishing. So, take a breath, pour yourself a cup of tea, and let's begin this journey, not outward, but inward. This isn't just a video, it's a companion for those quiet hours that used to feel too quiet. And maybe, just maybe, it's the start of discovering someone you've always lived with, but never fully met. Yourself. Why we must learn this. There comes a time in life, often unexpectedly, when we find ourselves alone. Sometimes it's after a loss, a spouse, a sibling, a best friend. Other times it's simply the path we've taken, or the life that unfolded without a partner beside us. Being alone isn't always a choice, but learning to live well within it is. For many, the quiet can feel like a constant reminder of what's missing. Meals are quieter, rooms echo, celebrations feel smaller. But what if we could shift that perspective? Instead of seeing this time as a void, we can learn to see it as space. A wide open space where healing can happen, where self-discovery can bloom. This isn't about pretending we don't feel lonely. Loneliness is real and it deserves our compassion. But it's also not the whole story. In these quiet years, we are offered something precious, the chance to truly come home to ourselves, to listen, not to the noise of the world, but to the voice within. That voice has stories, needs, longings, and peace, all waiting to be heard, all waiting to be held. Reframing the idea of alone. Let's pause for a moment and gently shift the way we think about being alone. The word itself often carries a sense of absence, a missing piece. But what if we looked at it differently? The root of the word alone comes from the idea of all one, whole, complete, not broken, not waiting, but fully present in yourself. Society often tells us that being with someone else is the goal, that our value grows when we're chosen, loved, partnered, but the truth is your value doesn't come from being a part of a pair. It comes from being, period. You are not a fraction looking for another half. You are whole, right now. Being alone is not a verdict. It's an opening, a spaciousness, a chance to know yourself in ways that were once obscured by noise, obligation, or caretaking. This isn't about denying the beauty of companionship. It's about honoring the beauty of your own inner life. When we reframe alone as all one, we begin to see that solitude isn't a punishment. It's an invitation, a call inward. And the one who answers is you. Gentle inventory of loneliness. Take a slow breath, And let's gently examine the feeling that often lingers when we're alone. Loneliness. It's a word we often avoid, sometimes even ashamed to admit, but naming it gives it form, and when something has form, we can begin to understand it. Sit quietly. Maybe place a hand over your chest. Ask yourself, where do I feel lonely? Is it in the mornings, sipping coffee in silence? Is it in the evening, when shadows stretch across empty rooms? Loneliness often shows up not as a loud cry, but a quiet ache in the absence of a voice, a hand, a shared glance. And while loneliness hurts, it's also deeply human. It's not weakness, it's longing. And that longing, if we tend to it gently, can lead us inward, not toward fixing or filling, but toward listening. Let it speak. Let it reveal what your heart needs. When we stop resisting loneliness and instead sit beside it with kindness, we turn it from a threat into a teacher. You don't have to be afraid of your own ache. It's simply asking to be seen. Embracing small rituals for one. One of the gentlest ways to shift how you feel about being alone is to embrace the little rituals, just for you. These aren't grand gestures. They're small, sacred things that say, I care for myself. Set the table for one with intention. Light a candle while you drink your tea. Play music that lifts your spirit, even if no one else hears it. These acts might seem insignificant, but they matter. They remind you that your experience is worthy of beauty and attention. You are not just getting by, you are living. A bath can become a spa. A walk can become a meditation. A quiet lunch can become a celebration of stillness. So often, we wait for company to make things special. But your presence is already enough. When you begin to create moments of intentional joy for yourself, something shifts. You stop waiting for life to feel meaningful. You start living like it already is. And in those moments, you're not just alone. You are accompanied by care, by presence, by love.
Turning silence into sanctuary. Silence can feel like an empty room. It can echo with memories or feel like a weight. But silence can also be sanctuary, a soft, sacred space where you are safe to breathe, to feel, to be. Start by noticing it, not trying to fill it. Let the quiet moments be just that, quiet. Listen to the sound of your own breath, the distant hum of life outside your window. These small sounds become companions when we allow them in. Instead of fearing silence, try honoring it. Light a candle and sit in the glow. Sip your tea slowly without distraction. Let the moment unfold with no rush, no judgment. Silence can become a friend, not a foe. A place where your inner voice is finally heard. It may speak softly at first, but over time, that voice becomes your guide. It's there to remind you, peace doesn't need permission. It simply needs space. And you can give it that, not by doing more, but by simply being. In the quiet, you begin to remember, you are enough, just as you are. You've always been. The joy of doing things alone. There's a quiet joy in doing things alone that often goes unnoticed. A walk through the park becomes your time to wander, not someone else's schedule to follow. Visiting a museum, you get to linger where your heart feels pulled, without apology. Dining out alone, it becomes a moment of presence, of fully savoring each bite, rather than filling the air with small talk. When you learn to enjoy doing things solo, you realize you're not lacking anything. You're gaining freedom. The freedom to move at your own pace, to follow your own curiosity, to be led by your own rhythm. This isn't about rejecting others, but about embracing yourself. At first, it might feel odd, even uncomfortable. But with time, these solo experiences become nourishment. And more importantly, they become proof. Proof that your own company is more than enough. That you can create joy without waiting for someone else to show up. You've already arrived. And the world, and its quiet beauty, is waiting for you to engage with it on your terms, in your time. Rediscovering forgotten passions. Often, as we move through life, raising families, building careers, caring for others, parts of ourselves get tucked away. Passions that once lit us up are left behind in the rush of responsibility. But now, in this season of spaciousness, we are invited to go back and gently retrieve those forgotten pieces. What did you love as a child? What activities made you lose track of time? Maybe it was painting, writing poetry, tending to a garden, playing an instrument. These aren't hobbies, they are doorways. Doorways to reconnect with parts of your soul that never stopped yearning. Start small. Set aside 10 minutes a day. Let curiosity, not perfection, guide you. It's not about being great at something. It's about feeling alive. Passion doesn't require an audience. It only requires your presence. And when you reawaken these joys, you're not just passing time, you're feeding your spirit. You're remembering who you are beneath the roles and titles. You're coming home to yourself. And that, dear one, is a beautiful reunion. Writing letters to yourself. One of the most tender things you can do in solitude is to write a letter to yourself. Not a journal entry, not a to-do list, but a true letter. Begin with "Dear Me" and see what spills out. Tell yourself how you're doing. Offer comfort for hard days. Celebrate small victories. Forgive old mistakes. Express dreams you're still holding quietly in your heart. This is not about grammar or eloquence. It's about honesty, vulnerability, love. Leave the letter in a drawer. Read it again next week or next year. Or write a new one. Over time, this practice becomes something sacred, a way to track your growth, to witness your healing, to remind yourself that even when the world is silent, there's always someone listening. You. Writing to yourself builds a bridge between the you of today and the one still emerging, between the parts of you that feel strong and those still tender. It's not just writing, it's remembering. And in that remembering, you begin to feel not so alone. Because someone is there, someone kind, someone familiar, someone who cares deeply. You. If you're still with us at this point in the video, thank you. That says a lot about your heart, your courage, and your willingness to walk this path inward.
If any part of what we've shared so far has resonated with you, would you type 1 in the comments below? Not for numbers, not for algorithms, but simply as a quiet way of saying, I'm here, I'm listening, I'm learning to be with myself. You're not alone on this journey, and sometimes the smallest signs of connection are the ones that mean the most. Creating a nurturing environment. The space around you can shape the way you feel inside. When you're learning to enjoy your own company, it's worth asking, does your home feel like a place that welcomes you? Not for guests or appearances, but for you. Add little touches that speak to your spirit. A cozy chair by the window, fresh flowers from your walk, photos that bring you joy, soothing scents, warm lighting, a favorite book within reach. You're not decorating for show, you're creating sanctuary, a place that says, you matter, your comfort matters. When your environment nurtures you, being alone begins to feel safe, even sweet. You start to associate solitude with ease, not emptiness. The home becomes a reflection of your inner calm. And just like that, your surroundings stop whispering, something's missing, and begin to say, everything you need is here.
Mindfulness as a companion. When you live alone, your thoughts can be loud companions. Mindfulness is the gentle art of noticing without judging. Instead of filling every moment with distractions, try just being present. Washing dishes becomes a time to feel warm water. Drinking tea turns into a small meditation. Watching a sunset becomes a ceremony. Mindfulness helps you slow down enough to meet yourself moment by moment. You'll notice your breath, your body, your emotions, not to fix them, but to befriend them. Over time, this practice builds a quiet resilience, a steadiness that says, I can be with myself even when it's hard. You realize you're not your thoughts, you're the presence beneath them. And that presence is vast, kind, steady. Mindfulness doesn't erase loneliness, it holds it with compassion. And in that holding, something shifts. You begin to feel less like you're waiting for life to begin, and more like you're already in the heart of it. The importance of gentle structure. One of the challenges of living alone is the looseness of time. Without anyone else to anchor your day, hours can blur. That's why gentle structure helps. Not rigid routines, but rhythms that support your energy. Maybe mornings are for walking, journaling, or prayer. Afternoons for creativity or rest. Evenings for soft light, quiet music, and unwinding. The point isn't to fill time, it's to honor it. When your days have shape, your mind feels more settled, your body finds ease. You begin to feel like time isn't something to battle, but something to embrace. Structure gives your solitude a steady beat. And within that beat, you'll find moments of peace and even joy rising naturally. Cultivating a relationship with nature. There is a special kind of companionship that nature offers. Trees that don't hurry, birds that sing without needing applause, the steady rhythm of waves or wind. Nature invites you to feel part of something larger. When you walk slowly through a garden or sit quietly near water, the world feels alive around you and within you. You are reminded that being alone doesn't mean being disconnected. The earth holds you,
The sky sees you. The breeze brushes past with a kind of tenderness. Try making time each week to be with nature, even for a few minutes. It doesn't need to be an adventure. A park bench, a tree outside your window, a plant on your windowsill. These are companions too. Silent, present, healing. They remind you that life moves gently, and so can you. Letting go of comparisons. In a world filled with images of couples traveling together or families gathering for dinner, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparison. You might ask, why not me? Or, did I miss something? These thoughts are normal, but they can quietly steal your peace. Letting go of comparison doesn't mean pretending those longings don't exist. It means making space for your unique life, your rhythm, your story. You are not behind. You are not missing out. You are on a path that's yours alone. And your journey, even if it looks different, holds its own kind of beauty. When you stop measuring your life against others, you begin to see it more clearly. You see how far you've come, how much you've grown, how much you've endured, and still here you are, living with grace. The most freeing act of all is this: to bless your life exactly as it is and say with courage, this is enough. Finding meaning in quiet seasons. Not every season of life is meant to be full. Some are slow, even still. That doesn't mean they're empty. It means they're sacred. In quiet seasons, we often discover what matters most. We notice the small joys, the warmth of sunlight on the wall, the sound of a familiar song, the comfort of our own breath. This is where meaning hides, not in noise, but in noticing. You don't have to do more to live a meaningful life. You just have to be present for the life that's already here. Ask yourself gently, what is life trying to show me right now? Maybe it's asking you to rest, maybe to forgive, maybe to dream again. Whatever it is, trust that this quiet season is not a pause. It is the path. Walk it slowly. Let meaning rise like mist. Unexpected, soft, and real. Staying open to new connections. Enjoying your own company doesn't mean closing the door to others. It means you no longer need someone to complete you, but you welcome connection from a place of fullness. Stay open to new friendships, conversations, and shared smiles. Join a class. Volunteer. Chat with someone at the market. You never know which gentle interaction could lead to something warm and lasting. When you feel secure in your solitude, relationships become richer, not because they fill a void, but because they add joy to an already full cup. Life has a quiet way of surprising us when we least expect it. So let your heart remain open, not in longing, but in welcome. Companionship at any age can still be discovered, not as a rescue, but as a gift.
Celebrating your journey. Look back for a moment, not with regret, but with reverence. You have walked through storms and still found your way to light. You have loved, lost, grown, and remained. That is worth celebrating. Often, we wait for others to recognize us. But what if you became your own witness? What if you honored every version of yourself that got you here? Light a candle for your resilience. Write down 5 things you're proud of. Say thank you.
out loud to the person in the mirror. You are not invisible. You are not forgotten. You are a whole life lived bravely. Celebrate that. You've earned it. And the journey continues, still unfolding, still full of wonder. Learning to enjoy your own company is not about perfection. It's about presence. It's about learning to sit with yourself, in joy, in sorrow, in quiet, and still feel whole. Loneliness may visit, but it does not define you. You are not just alone. You are spacious, sacred, full of depth. Every quiet morning, every gentle evening, every silent hour, these are the places where your soul expands, where you begin to see not just who you were, but who you're becoming. If there's one thing to take away, let it be this. Your own company is not a consolation prize. It is a gift, one that you are worthy of receiving, again and again. You've just spent half an hour, not just watching a video, but honoring yourself. And that matters. The most important takeaway, your own company is not something to tolerate. It's something to treasure. It is in your quiet moments, your letters, your tea rituals, your walks in nature, that your truest self speaks. And if you've made it all the way here, we'd love to know. Please type 2 in the comments below, a soft signal to say, yes, I'm learning to befriend myself, and I'm still here. If this message spoke to your heart, please consider subscribing, giving this video a like, and sharing it with someone who might be walking the same path. It may seem small, but your support helps this peaceful corner of the internet reach others who need it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. Until next time.